Chapter 2 of Up the Amazon by Russell Lee Morris. Seu do Mapia, Mirror City. PRONAF, the national program for the strengthening of family farming, finances over 300 families working on the specially designated land deep in the Amazon in terms of or using the usual traditional portable money. Mapia is the capital of this land, the PURUS National Forest, deep in the Amazon, Brazil. The budget for this project as of the year 2008 was $5.8 billion US. That's plenty of money already issued. Whether it's all circulating is doubtful, as usual, when using the hoardable form of money to run an economy. But we will change that. We will coerce the medium of exchange to flow smoothly with the money charm. Do you remember the money charm? I asked Jordan. He took a deep breath, cleared his mind, and being with the breathing, here is what he said. The money charm is the two-edged sword coming from the mouth. One edge of this sword is declaring demurrage, holding charges, on the hoardable money. The other edge of this two-edged sword is renting God's land, not selling it. Usury is forbidden in God's kingdom. And God said to Moses, "The land is mine, thou shalt not sell it." Very good, Jordan. And now let us continue with the story. 1994 was the year this project, PRONAF, was kicked off. The 30-year mark is here, and many farmers who took out loans in the beginning are most likely brutally feeling the hunger of the beast, usury, and being forced to take shortcuts or subtly cheat, even though they would rather not, just to pay their bills. This is true, especially since the global pandemic. The mainstream media made sure of this. Mapia and the forest need help, and that is why I am here. I'm with you, Angel NicGillicuddy, little Jordan says, as they walk along a path in Mapia on their way to have a snack in some public cafe. When they arrive, there are plenty of people just hanging out. Angel and Jordan have a seat at a very conspicuous table, pretending to be all by themselves in the cafe. They proceed to discuss the money charm plan for reversing the effects of usury, which are devouring the forest and the people of PURUS National Forest quickly. The beasts must be made subservient, little Jordan. Killing it will not do the trick. Jordan is completely absorbed in our conversation. How? He asks, excited and ready for action. Some of the other people in the cafe have moved closer to our table. It is obvious they are listening. Some are even translating what we are saying. We must use the two-edged sword coming from the mouth. It comes from my mouth, and it can come from your mouth, too. Jordan is leaning over the table, listening closely, and now I sense a great curiosity from all the people in the cafe. It didn't take long. They are all feeling the intense pressure of the impending doom as the beast is getting bigger and bigger and more dominant, even in their heavenly little spot so deep in the Amazon. Don't worry, little Jordan. The beast shall serve us very soon. In fact, Satan himself shall be our biggest helper after. I paused just a second or two, took a deep breath naturally, and exhaled naturally. Then, being with the breathing, I said very clearly, after demurrage, holding charges, is declared on the hoardable money. Jordan repeated it in Portuguese. After declaring demurrage, holding charges on the hoardable money, he took a deep breath, then exhaled, very naturally and relaxed. And now all the people in the room were nicely and naturally being with the breathing, not changing it or interfering with it at all, just observing. Am I exhaling or am I inhaling? And affirming in the mind what is, and listening. This is the first edge of the two-edged sword coming from the mouth. And we all paused, observing the breathing. Since the land is already nationalized, the PURUS National Forest, the second edge of the two-edged sword will be easy to present. If you own a piece of property and are having a hard time making mortgage payments and paying your other bills, this land can be given back. The owners will be compensated to the nation, PURUS, and each parcel, just the land, not the man-made structures, rented to the highest bidder. Later, it will be shown by an updated survey, the LIDAR survey, a new arrangement for parceling the land into sites for rent. Here, we have another simplifying factor, perfectly timed. The money from rent on land will be divided equitably, first giving to all the mothers a basic income with demurrage, holding charges, for each of their children. The rest of the rent money will be utilized for social services, especially infrastructure. And I'm not talking about computers here. Infrastructure is roads, bridges, railway. Computers make commerce easier, but they do not do anything for infrastructure. In fact, they add pressure to the existing roads and bridges and track. Using unhoardable money with demurrage, holding charges, inspires more and more local business, practically automatically. The use of computers will not be so important. Face-to-face business taking its place. The following 20 years will show a significant increase in personal savings for retirement, far outperforming with confidence any plan using the traditional hoardable money, and prices will be stabilized, so that whatsoever a man soweth, that he may also reap. The price not going up, 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 nor all of a sudden down, 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 just stable. There was plenty of translating going on in the cafe, whispers, air magic. With your help, I am prepared to open the first national PURUS bank of free money, money which is free to circulate as it should, and managed absolutely, based on the National Reserve of goods, agricultural and mineral, which are sitting on the shelf, so to say, and ready to be picked up, sold. God said to Moses, "The land is mine, thou shalt not sell it." And usury is forbidden in God's kingdom. What is usury? It is not interest. Interest is a result of usury. Usury, in its worst and most powerful form, is manipulating a person's actions by embarrassing that person, holding back the one thing which they need. It's not love which is being held back. It is money. Who is holding the most cash paper money, US dollars in particular, is the biggest, most monstrous usurer, and that is Satan. But we shall make Satan subservient when demurrage, holding charges, is declared on the hoardable money. We shall turn Satan's weapon, which he has used against us all for thousands of years, money. We shall turn this weapon against Satan himself, and he shall become subservient. Amen. Amen, said Jordan. And then everyone in the cafe softly said, Amen. I noticed one person sneaking off. Very soon you will see them come after me, just like they came after Jesus, and Muhammad too, and Silvio Gesell. I will need your protection. Jordan came over to my chair, and he sat in my lap. Putting his arms around me, he said, I'm with you. And all the people in the room seemed to move closer to us. End of chapter 2. Chapter 3. WHUM News from the Amazon. New Jerusalem to Old Jerusalem. The forest to the desert. Pyramids aren't the only thing in common with the Amazon and the Middle East. The sun rises and all the forest is resplendent. There is a knock on the door. It is little Jordan. We head out for a nice walk. I notice that many of the people are whispering about us, and it makes me wonder. Jordan, my little buddy, and he brings his attention my way. It seems as though the whole life of the forest is brought with him. It is a profound feeling, deep. Good, thank you, Jordan. How are you today? We are good, Angel, thank you. I would like to ask you for a little bit of help. Would you be interested in starting a radio channel with me? After a few seconds, Jordan nods affirmatively and smiles. I will need someone to be our #1 reporter who knows the scene from all angles. Someone here on the ground with us and who has lots of good connections. Ho, he exclaims, and he points to a little cabin. There is a man standing in the doorway. This is my dad, Padrino Paolo Roberto. A little colorful hummingbird passes by us, and it goes to land on the railing next to Paolo. In our meeting, we discussed the news channel WHUM, direct from the heart of New Jerusalem, Mapia, Brazil. And being with the breathing, we also discuss what will be the foundation to guide business and investment strategy for saving the forest, the Abraham Accords. Usury is forbidden in God's kingdom. And God said to Moses, the land is mine, thou shalt not sell it. We also begin reflecting on some of the things which will tie all of our news together. The interest factor, interest on money, and the two-edged sword coming from the mouth. Angel borrows a pencil to write a quick little cue card and holds it up for everyone to read aloud. Stay tuned for what happens next. This is not your ordinary news channel. Next chapter. Pulled aside by Truth Social for a closer look. Old Jerusalem to New Jerusalem, Mapia, Brazil. Come in, New Jerusalem, come in, New Jerusalem. I'm going to tell my story clear as the light of day, following this truth of the Empire Joramidam. May God in heaven present the Lord King Solomon. Here we will include the part about the hoardable gold money, which was vacuumed out of circulation and which was the reason his kingdom split in two. Sound familiar? A little like the American Civil War? It is. The hoardable money strategy is very old, and it doesn't have anything to do with race, color, religion, culture. It is strictly about money. So that it does not happen in New Jerusalem, the same decline, demurrage, holding charges, must be declared on money. Thank you, Archangels Michael, Ariel, Raphael, Gabriel. Thank you, Abraham, Moses, Jesus, Silvio Gesell. Old Jerusalem to New Jerusalem. Are you there, New Jerusalem? This is WHUM, messenger for the hummingbird, coming from deep inside the Amazon forest. Come in, New Jerusalem, Mapia, Brazil. Padrino Paolo Roberto. This is Angel NicGillicuddy. Do you think they are receiving our message, Jordan? He looks at me and takes a deep breath, relaxing. And being with the breathing, he assures me, oh yes, they are. And here is the second post pulled aside. Working on the creation of the first little book about money for Mapia school system. What happened to the previous civilization that lived here? I read about the LIDAR survey of the Amazon this morning. Lost cities of the Amazon, discovered from the air. Smithsonian Magazine, May 25, 2022. Why were the Great Pyramids abandoned? These miraculous civilizations suffered a very long, forced and planned economic recession, depression. Why? Because their money was vacuumed out of circulation by the explorers, who took money out of the country they were exploring and sent it to their families and friends back in their homeland. The explorers were just like illegal immigrants, who also take money out of circulation to send back to their friends and relatives back in the home country. Also, these explorers were already under pressure, in debt to their financiers. The illegal immigrants are also in debt to their financiers, Coyotes Incorporated. Had it not been for the forced economic recession depression, the pyramid construction of the previous civilization would have continued, the work and products being continuously refined. The vast majority of the Amazon forest, which has been cut down, would still be standing. The human creating miracles much greater than those of Jesus, just like he said. All of this would have happened naturally if the money would have carried demurrage charges, holding charges. In that case, the explorers could have taken the gold. The money system would not have flinched. Strong and resilient, it would have continued to support creation, would have carried on as usual, and everything would have risen to even greater heights. End of this section